Hello there, you absolute legends. Emma McElhinney here with Piss Off Perimenopause and the musings of a bullshit queenager. I am here to ruin your misconceptions about perimenopause, fat loss, and kick midlife in the face. So if you think your 40s are a drag, think again. Because every week I am going to be stripping down the myths about perimenopause. I'm serving you raw, unfiltered truths about your health and smashing misconceptions about fat loss. And a whole lot more. So if you thought you knew midlife, you don't know the half of it. Aging is inevitable, but getting old is a choice. So buckle up, grab a glass of something yummy, and let's get to it. Hello. Happy Wednesday again. I realise I have been live once before today, but you know, no such thing as too much in the world of Facebook Lives apparently. Right, welcome to our Live at 5 Masterclass. Today is all about self-care and how can we implement self-care if we're not a person that wants to implement self-care, okay? That doesn't really make any sense, but it will, I promise you. So if you're live, I want a hashtag live in the comments. If you're in replay, I want a hashtag replay in the comments. No lurking, get your name out there. All it is a wee cheeky hashtag live. But basically what that does is when you hashtag live, it gets this to more people so that more people can learn how to implement self-care if they're not WooWoo. So do it. You're not doing it for yourself, you're doing it for the other people in the group and they will thank you for it, I promise. Maybe not. They might, who knows. Right, how has your day been today? Give me a wee comment. Good, bad, indifferent, hot, cold. I did spend some time in the garden, but I think it's only about 18 here just now, which is quite pleasant, I think, after the horrificness. And oh my God, people in London area, I really, really feel for you after that. Was horrible watching the news, horrible. So my thoughts are with you. I hope nobody's had any property damage or personal damage, or I hope everybody's okay. Please, I hope everybody's okay. Right, so I'm going to keep that quite short and sweet. One main reason is that my little angel Archie, who's my son, if you don't know that, he is coming back from his caravanning trip with his granny and grandpa very soon. And I haven't seen him for nearly 2 weeks. And you do miss them when they're gone, don't you? You often sit and go, oh my God, what I wouldn't give for a day of peace. And after a day of peace, you're like, oh, can I miss you? So yeah, can I miss him? But he'll be back very soon. My husband's away to get him. So, right, first of all, what is WooWoo? So the lovely Debbie asked this yesterday, what is WooWoo? And I did have a lovely response from Urban Dictionary. Now, WooWoo actually means what's up with you in youth speak. Now, I am not a youth. I'm 40, how old am I? I'm nearly 44 years old, so I'm not a youth and I don't do youth speak. I barely do text speak, but WooWoo in the way I'm talking about it today means excessively new agey, interested in astrology, non-scientific, religious or mystically inclined. Sometimes abbreviated simply as woo. Okay. Now, I would love to be more woo-woo. I would love to be more spiritual. I would love to be more into new age things and feeling the vibe and whatnot, but I'm just not. And I completely get the concept and I completely understand, how it can work. However, and there are parts that you can implement when you're not woo-woo. I'm not woo-woo, but there is some parts of things that I do. And I don't think it's you have to be this or you have to be this. Like everything else, there is a scale, isn't there? So you can be, like we often talk about, like, oh, I'm just really sciencey and I'm not arty. And some people are like, oh, I'm just so creative, I'm just not sciencey. But most people are actually on a spectrum and they have a certain preference for some things. It's a whole nature-nurture thing as well. And it's very much related to mindset. I'm not that kind of person. Like, well, is that just because you've been telling yourself that? Or is that real? So yeah, need to bring it back. So anyway, thinking about self-care. Okay, self-care as a thing is important for everybody. But I actually think it's probably more important for those of us that are over 40, maybe experiencing a little bit of high stress, juggling multiple responsibilities. You know, as we enter our 40s and get into our 50s, our lives tend to shift because the kids are getting older. You're less bound by their calendars. You're starting to get a little bit more freedom from that side of things. However, careers tend to have, you know, more involvement. We're also having to start thinking about aging parents and you know, financial futures and all these other new things, and paying off mortgages and all these exciting things that happen. So actually there tends to be quite a lot going on, and to be able to take a break and actually look after us is super important, because most women tend to go through the child rearing years as being completely unselfish and having to give their all to raising a family and looking after the house and all that kind of other stuff. So yes, and because we have the onset of hormonal changes, it actually means that we're going to be more susceptible to stress, we're going to be more susceptible to less sleep, and all of this then adds up to create physical stress, emotional stress, and mental stress. So being able to take a step back and actually look after us is hugely important. But by the time we get to our 40s, we often don't actually know how to do that. So I'm going to tell you some things that we can all implement that don't require a lot of time, they don't require a lot of energy, they don't require a lot of money, they don't require a lot of anything other than a desire from you to be able to say, I'm going to look after myself a little bit better. Okay? And it's the same as everything. There is no such thing as perfection. There is only progress. So we only want to be a little bit better at this. We don't want to have to try and suddenly go from not taking care of ourselves to sitting in a quiet Zen room with some crystals and lava lamps oming, because we all have that perception that's what self-care actually is, but it's not. All right? So as with everything, we think better, we think good, better, best. All right? So what is good enough? What is better and what is best? And I just want, if you're all right at this, you can always take it up another notch. If you're not very good at this, you can bring it up to being at least good and at least attempting it, because, you know, at the end of the day, there's no right nor wrong on what you do or how it feels. Okay, so some easy things. I have scrolled some down, so let me just prop my notes up. So think better, good, better, best. All right, so an very easy way to start implementing self-care, to start the brain thinking along positive pathways, is simply getting a notebook. This is one of my lovely ones. I have two the same as this because they're a bit fancy. I have them monogrammed. Anyway, you don't need to get them monogrammed. But if you do want something that's more structured, this one is exceptionally good, the 6-minute diary. But basically, all I would want you to do to kick this off is just every day write 3 things that you're happy about, or 3 things that make you feel good, or 3 things that you're grateful for. That's it. Just 3 things. And the more that we start thinking with positive mindset, the more natural it'll become for our brain to go towards a more positive outlook. Okay, so you're not going to do it one day and go, oh my god, I feel amazing, but after a week it'll start feeling like, oh, I can do this, and it'll have you actively looking for positive things rather than dwelling on negative things. All right, so very often, I don't know if it's a UK cultural thing or a female culture thing, but we all very often go to the negative first. Like, think about the weather, automatic reaction, oh my god, it's so wet and windy and miserable and But you can look for the opportunity in that and say, I'm really grateful for that rain because my garden's going to grow. Or I am grateful for that rain because it means our reservoirs are going to be topped up, and that means our fire hydrants have water. So when the summer months come and climate change is killing us all off, we actually have some water to battle some fires, you know. And trying to find the positives. And it might feel unnatural at first, but it's actually a really nice thing to do. Like, there'll be times where you feel really shit. There'll be times that you feel that life is against you. And if you can just grab 3 minutes and write 3 things, and you might really need to dig hard for the 3 things. Like, there was one day I was in a complete funk, and it was, one of my things was, I'm grateful for the birds tweeting in the garden. That was the only positive thing I could find. But it was a positive thing that I could find. So yeah, and just take it. You don't need a long time. You don't need to sit and journal for 20 minutes, although that would be best. But just being able to do a little bit of gratitude every single day is just a really nice thing to do for yourself. Another thing to do, which can be really nice and it's really easy for some people with smaller children, you might find this quite challenging, but see, just sitting in silence for 5 minutes and just not having your phone, not having a distraction, even if it has to be sitting in the toilet for 5 minutes and just sitting and letting your brain go places, opening up things. You might start thinking of some questions, you might start thinking of anything, you might start thinking of nothing, and that is the goal, to be able to empty the head. And that's why meditation can be really powerful, because it has you focusing on your breath or a sound and trying to empty the noise in your head, and that ultimately is one of the things that we're trying to achieve. But that, being able to set aside 20 minutes to go and do a meditation can be quite hard for some people, but just setting aside 5 minutes to have 5 minutes alone with no noise, also really powerful. So that's a really good thing that you can possibly try and do. And I would think everybody would be able to find 5 minutes. If you can't find 5 minutes, 3 minutes. Remember, good, better, best. Just have a chance to just go, and let it float out of your ears, or wherever thoughts float out of your ears, do they? Another really powerful thing, and this is something I need to get better at. I was doing this really well, and then I'm not very good at it now, but having a day without social media. And I know probably I am here on social media, and I want you to consume all my social media content, but here I am telling you to take a day off. But we are bombarded by images and adverts and influencers and all the stuff, and it bombards us, and we've just become acclimatized to it. But it's hard work. If you look into, I could go on for this for days about dopamine, and social media is one of the primary causes of dopamine hits. And dopamine is that oh my god, I need it now. And it's a very similar effect that we get from binge eating. It's a very similar effect that some people get from binging, like they go on spending sprees. It's that kind of impact, and it's that kind of, I want something here now. And social media gives you that, but underneath all of that, we don't think we're getting affected by it, but we are. And I had to, so take Instagram for an example. I follow a lot of CrossFit athletes, and of course they do fitness for a living, so they are all ripped and beautiful and buff, and that was beginning to really get me down, because I was going into the headspace of, people aren't going to want to be coached by me because I don't look like that. And it's taken quite a lot of hard work to unpick those thoughts and emotions and go, do you know what? I'm 44 years old. I have my own business. I have a house. I have a kid. I work out 5 days a week. I look good. A size 10, sometimes a size 12, depending where I shop. Sometimes I have abs. Sometimes I don't have abs. And actually, I need to get comfortable with me. I need to learn to love myself, because if I want to teach people how to love themselves, then I should be living and breathing that. So coming off social media, where we're getting assaulted by noise, is actually a really powerful thing you can do. And I'm not asking you to do it all the time, but just take a day. Like Sunday used to be my day, and I'm going to start implementing that again from now, where just no social media. And it's really hard, especially if some of you are running businesses online, and it can be quite hard to have that detachment. But remember, you need to come first, because if you are not thriving, if you're not sparking on all cylinders and being the best that you can be, no one else is going to be the best that they can be either. Right? So reclaim some life back and get away from social media just for a day. All right, if you can't do a day, just do half a day. Start small. Remember, good, better, best. Another thing you can do really easily is just treat yourself. Actually treat yourself. Go and take £30 and go for a manicure, or go for a massage, or go for a facial, or go, I don't know, wherever you want to go, and do something for yourself. Because very typically what we do is we go, oh, I'm going to go and buy Archie some new shoes, or I'm going to do a day out with the kids, and for a lot of people that does make them feel really, really good, but it's not actually self-care. It's caring for everybody else, and that's what most of us do 99% of the time. So do that 1% time for you. Go and treat yourself. Get away from the house, get away from your family, just get away. Even go to another town. I've done that where I've actually gone a 40-minute drive to go to a spa, even though I've got 2 minutes up the road. Just get away. So treat yourself. Moving your body is a form of self-care. Absolutely is a form of self-care. Very often self-care has this, we have this belief that self-care is, self-care, I'm just going to sit in the sofa and down all this wine and eat all these crisps and eat shit. That's not self-care. Self-care is about learning to love yourself and treat yourself right. And although you might get the dopamine hit from the crisps and the wine, you're not actually looking after yourself. You know you're actually going to make yourself feel shit. Now, I would be a complete hypocrite if I said don't do that. Do it, but don't treat it as self-care. Like, having excess alcohol is not doing you any favors at all. It's upsetting your digestion, it's upsetting your mind, it's upsetting your sleep, it's upsetting your weight. It's just really not healthy, but we do it, right? And at the end of the day, it is what it is, we do it. But don't treat that as self-care. Actually give yourself your body something that it really, really needs. And one of those things is movement. Actually moving your body. Now, if you already are a regular exerciser, maybe do something a bit lighter touch, do some yoga, do some Pilates, do a pole dancing class, do some aerial work. There was for those of you that are Glasgow based or Central Scotland based, I saw an advert in a local group for a gym in Glasgow that's opened up, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's an alternative gym. And it only does things like pole dancing, aerial workouts, rhythmic gymnastics, things that are still getting your body moving, but aren't your traditional go and lift a barbell or go and lift some weights or go for a run. So get your body moving and try something different. Even get out your comfort zone. That's quite a good form of self-care because it's just pushing you a little bit further. Another one, listening to nature. So if you can get out into the countryside and just walk or sit and listen to birds and the rustling of the trees, it's amazing. And if you've got a dog, you take a dog walk. Normally I put my headphones in, but maybe just one day, one walk of the week, just take your headphones out and just listen. And it can be really, really peaceful. If you live by the sea, go and listen to the waves. It's amazing. Absolutely incredible. And it has this power to just bring it down a notch. And that's all we're asking for, is just be able to take off the intensity of the day a little bit and just chill. Just feel it. Cut out booze for a week. It will help. It will really help with stress. It will help with sleep. It will help with exercise. It will help with mindset. You'll feel less edgy. You'll feel less anxious. You'll feel less puffy. Your skin will thank you for it. You will, honestly, it's a really powerful thing to do, giving up alcohol for a full week. So give it a try. And another thing is think about you. Think about, actually that's quite a big question. Am I happy? What are my happiness levels like? Am I feeling satisfied? Do I feel content? Do I feel happy? And if the answer is no to all of them things, think about what could I do that could help me on that journey to being happier or more content or satisfied. And that's not about creating a 5-year plan in 5 minutes, but that's just, identifying 1 or 2 small things that you can do to help you on that path. All right. I thought they were some quite good ideas. Let me know. There's a few live just now who I know who are exceptionally good at self-care and have been in the past exceptionally bad at self-care. And I'm not pointing any fingers, but you know who you are. But I know that there's people on here that are exceptionally good at self-care. So I'd be interested to hear maybe 2 or 3 bullets of what has worked for you in the past or what has worked for other people that you know. So that people can pick and choose. It's not about having this is my self-care routine where I must journal for an hour and then I must meditate for an hour and then I must listen to nature for an hour and then I get things done. Because you'd have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to get all that shit done. Hell no. No, this is all about finding something that works for you to help reflect on what is going on, be able to feel positive and comfortable with what is coming in the future. That's ultimately it. So with that, thank you, Helen. Yeah. Yoga once a week. Yeah. I only do yoga once a month just now with our lovely Sharon, who comes and does our yoga in our academy group, but I love it. I'm not a natural yoga person, but I love doing that because it fits in. It fits in. She doesn't ask me to om for a start, and everybody's always got that fear of having to om, and I don't think any yoga teacher makes them om. But it helps my body recover from the other things that I make it do, like lift weights. And today, I don't know if for any non-CrossFitters out there, there's this movement that they do in CrossFit called double unders, which is basically skipping, but the rope passes under your feet twice. So every one bounce, you've got 2 rope skips. And like most other girls in their 40s, I used to be brilliant at skipping when I was young. Like, we used to do that whole double rope thing, in and out, and all the stuff. And I started CrossFit, I don't know, in 2018, and couldn't do double unders. It's taken me till this year to be able to string together more than 10 double unders without me peeing my pants. So I had workout today, which was 3 rounds of 50 double unders and pull-ups. And yeah, I thought I was going to have some kind of Achilles tear. But I didn't. I survived. I did my 50 double unders. I didn't do them unbroken. I had to do them in blocks of 15. But I did them. And I was quite chuffed with that. And I can't remember the point of where I was going with that. Can't remember. Anyway, for those of you that care, I can now do double unders. Woo! All right, so I love that, Debbie. That's a really good thing. Making a list of things that you know you like to do and trying to do one a day. Good. I like that. Okay, so I'm going to leave that with you. Go and figure out some things that you can do. Remember, good, better, best. It's not about taking 3 hours out of your life to go and do yoga, journal, and meditate. It's about doing little practical things that are going to help serve you be better at being you. That's it. Okay. Lovely to have you all here. And we've got a lot of new members, so welcome if you're just catching this. And check your messengers because I'm sending you a freebie. All right. Speak to you later. Bye-bye-bye. And just like that, we have spiced up another episode of Piss Off Perimenopause and the musings of a bullshit queenager. Massive shout out and a huge thank you for hanging out with me today. I really hope you've been entertained. And remember, don't be shy, hit that subscribe button. And until next time, keep those heels high and standards higher. Remember, it's all about glowing, growing, and downright owning it. So catch you on the flip side, and don't forget to click the link in the show notes to get your freebie.